Hey YouTube, it's Frisky Dingo here, just checking back in with you guys, doing a reaction video to Jorge Linares versus Devin Haney. Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. What can I say? It was a really good fight for the 135-pound division. It was actually pretty fun to see two extremely well-skilled fighters be in the ring at the same time. Devin Haney coming off very impressive wins for his last 4 fights. Obviously, Jorge Linares has struggled in recent time with going up in weight and taking an L, which once again, that's just boxing greatness. You know, if you don't go out if you don't go out in boxing to dare to be great, then, you know, you'll be in boxing not known as a great. And I think that's pretty much simple overall. He tried to do that, did not go successful, came down, fought Lomachenko, gave him a really good fighting. Even though he lost, once again, he was still a fruitful boxer when coming into this fight. He was not what is considered to be washed. When watching this fight, he had his legs underneath him. He was throwing solid combinations, working off the jab. He was showing extreme power, ability, not only in ring generalship, but also technical skill. So that being said, Devin Haney did have a battle for himself, and he also showed himself a different, unique style. Now, we never get to see Devin Haney do this type of brawler type style. We're usually very much only seeing this with someone like a Sean Porter type, but it was actually very nice to see a fighter who fights on the back foot, defensively speaking, being able to go brawler and fight toe-to-toe within the pocket, coming out of the pocket, throwing jabs and setting off the jab, working off your jab, setting up check hooks, and different type of things that just ultimately make you a better variable boxer. Devin Haney showed that he can actually go toe-to-toe and fight an opponent and a bull and a adversity that is never unseen in boxing. So I could definitely say that it was a really good fight, and I can't wait for the next one. Honestly, Devin Haney, I would love to see him beat in a ring with Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that fight is going to happen. Honestly speaking, Bob Arum isn't the type of fighter to serve up his fighters to other great talent. Teofimo Lopez is way too young. He'll be a cash cow for him for at least 15 years to come. Even if Bob Arum was to pass away, his family will still be making money off of Teofimo Lopez, so I do not believe that he's going to serve up Teofimo Lopez in that way to Devin Haney. It is a really good fight. I do expect it to happen in the near time future. Do I see Teofimo making this his next fight? No, I do not. Unfortunately, I have to be extremely realistic. This is no different than Mayweather's run when he was at 130 pounds, 135 pounds. He would get a title. People will call out his name. People use him for, you know, caviar of sorts in boxing, but no one would ever get in the ring with him. Unfortunately, that's what we're experiencing with Devin Haney. Even though this fight, I would say, I think Teofimo might actually make it happen in the sense of he wants this fight because he probably saw something in Devin Haney. But I think realistically, Devin is not going to fight like this come against Teofimo. This is just not the type of fight that he usually fights against someone that's a power puncher like Teofimo and young. He'll most likely box around him. Do I want to see another Linares fight? Of course. I think if Linares can fight Ryan Garcia, that would be very advantageous. If Jorge Linares can fight Fortuna, that would be advantageous. I think there are some more beautiful fights out there that are waiting to happen. With Devin Haney, I would love for him to either, one, move up, because, you know, it doesn't make sense for him to stay at 130, continue to take beatings when he can move up to 140 and start his journey. I do think that he can stay at 135 a little bit longer, and honestly, I've said this before, I believe the best path for him is to stay at 135, do 10 title defenses, try to get at least one big fight in, and then move on to 140. And I think that's pretty much the similar respect to Mayweather when he was at 130 and he had trouble trying to get fighters into the ring at 130. And when he moved up to 135, he also, had won a few big fights. And then 140, the same thing, and so on and so forth, until he got to 147 and fought Oscar De La Hoya for an extremely big battle of star supremacy. But that being said, I think that if Devin Haney stays at 135, fights a little bit more, gets a little bit more experience, he'll be well off into 140. I do not see Devin Haney beating someone like Josh Taylor currently. Josh Taylor is just way too well-rounded. He's at the pinnacle of his boxing prime as a man. So I don't see Devin Haney moving up to 140 to fight someone who's ultimately going to outbox him. I think Devin stays at 135, continues to defend his title until he can't make weight no more, and or he could get a better fight. So that's basically my hypothesis for Devin Haney and Jorge Linares. I think that both of them can be able to get a couple more good fights at 135. I don't think that either one of them is ready for 140. And I think overall, I would love to see both of them fight another fighter. I mean, of course, Jorge Linares is not washed up. He's nowhere even close to being washed up. He's actually in very well shape. No different than Gamboa. Gamboa, yes, he hasn't beaten a top elite fighter, but he hasn't lost to lesser talent. So I don't understand this perspective from certain fans that because Gamboa didn't beat Tank Robinson, he didn't beat Crawford, he didn't beat Haney, that somehow he's washed. But realistically, Tank has never struggled with a boxer before. He struggled with Gamboa. Haney outboxed Gamboa, but at the same time, Haney didn't sit there and give him punishment. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Gamboa is still very much a good boxer. But boxing comes down to multitude of styles. Sometimes you brawl, sometimes you're defensive. I don't think that Devin Haney is pillow-fisted in the sense. He shows extreme power. Hence why Jorge and Gamboa respected his power by not sloppily fighting. So I definitely believe that there's more fights to be made at 135. Hopefully Ryan Garcia could, get over the anxiety situation. Hopefully Lomachenko will fight someone besides, because I see Lomachenko trying to fight Comey and Nakatani currently. I think that he will do that instead of going after good fighters. But I would love to see Loma get back in there with Linares. I actually think Linares versus Lomachenko 2 should happen. That would be an extremely good fight. So, that's basically it for this video. We're pretty much at the timer. I'll definitely look out for the next up-and-coming boxing information just to get back out to you guys. And I'll definitely check you guys in the next one. See you guys later.